Hey everybody, welcome back to Reach and Reverie. Today it is snowing really hard outside and tomorrow's gonna be snowing as well. And so I thought it would be the perfect opportunity for us to stay inside, cozy where it's warm. Today I am gonna show you guys something that's very close and dear to my heart. My seed collection. We're gonna go through all of the seeds that I own and I'm gonna show you guys glimpses into what I'm gonna be planting in my 2021 spring garden. So let's go take a look. Here's one last look since our tree's about to come down. We haven't got all the presents put away yet. My sister Alicia, she hand stitched these. I think that they are just really beautiful. And I can't wait till the spring to put my green stalk up. What I have here as a Christmas gift is a green stalk tower planter. On this green stalk, the bottom 3 tiers are the original, which are really deep pockets that you can plant really big plants in and vegetables. And then the top 2 tiers are shallower. It's the brand new leaf tier that just came out this month. And so I can't wait. I'm gonna have to show you guys what I have planned to plant in here, but that's for another video. This video, I want to show you guys my seed collection. What is it, Russell? What? This is my seed collection. It sits in our living room. I've organized my seeds into different categories, and each category is sealed in its shelf in a Ziploc bag to try to keep it as fresh as possible. So I invite you guys to join me as I go through the contents of my seed library. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out each one of these drawers and I'll open them up. Oh my goodness, Evie. Every time I sit down on the living room floor, I always have an animal that just wants love and attention. Evie. Oh my goodness, you're gonna have to back up. You're gonna have to back up. Oh my gosh, here comes Russell. Here comes Russell. You guys, I have chapstick on and she always tries to smell and lick off my chapstick. Okay, Evie, I am wearing black. You're gonna have to back up. All right, you guys, Evie has decided that she wants to join us for a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to open up each one of these drawers and we're gonna see what's inside. Now some of these drawers are really full, so I'm just gonna show you guys the highlights, some of my favorite things that are in here, and maybe a few of the things that we are gonna be including in our garden next season. These drawers are organized into nightshades, grains and nuts. Grains and nuts is really more like my miscellaneous drawer. We have squash, melons, beans, peas, and okra, brassicas and greens. In brassicas and greens, I also include artichokes because I didn't really know where to put those. And then I also have alliums, root vegetables, herbs, and at the very bottom we have ornamentals. So today let's start with the nightshades. Nightshades include a variety of fruits, which would be anything from potatoes. I actually don't have any potatoes in my collection, but they include potatoes, eggplants, tomatoes, peppers, tomatillos, things like that. If y'all guys hear little scuttling around and bells, little tiny noises going around in the background, Russell is playing with little cat toys. Evie, you're gonna get your boogers on my seeds. You gotta behave. She is famous for getting boogers on things. You got such a big nose. You can hold so many boogers. So we have a few different varieties of vegetables in our nightshade family. First, we have eggplant. There she goes. Very nice. I have a little more room now. We have some eggplants. This past year, I grew Listata digondia. I think this is a wonderful variety to grow. In my experience with it, it had issues with flea beetles. A lot of pests really liked to eat the leaves and even try to chew on some of the fruit on this variety. But this variety's skin is really soft. There's no bitterness with this variety. I highly recommend it for the flavor. And the only issue was how much the bugs really liked to eat on this plant. I definitely would grow this again though. Listada de Gandia. So Littlefinger's eggplant, which is going to be joining us this year, I really think it's going to do a great job because it's a compact little plant. Seems like it's going to be very productive. It has mild sweet flavor, and in general I think that this is going to do really good in our small gardening area. In the nightshade group, we also have tomatoes. I have just some generic tomatoes. This year joining us is coming from Wild Boar Farms. We have the large barred boar tomato, which has nice variegated streaks going across it. This one I'm super excited about. It's a beefsteak variety, 8 to 12 ounces, generally just so beautiful. So we're gonna try this. Stay tuned. This is definitely going put into the 2021 garden. I also have a snowball or white beauty tomato. I really enjoyed the blue beauty tomato that I grew this past year, speaking of. And so I decided to add the white beauty, which is also a beefsteak tomato. It's a really beautiful white tomato that has kind of a yellowish creamy skin. I'm excited to add that to our garden this year as well. Coming back to the garden this year is definitely going to be the blue beauty tomato. This amazing beefsteak variety is just beautiful. Everywhere where the sun hits it, the skin turns a dark bluish purple color. And everywhere where those colors are present, the fruit is going to be packed with antioxidants. It's a really healthy, wonderful, heat tolerant, drought tolerant, pest tolerant tomato that I am really happy to say we have in our collection. This year, I'm also adding, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, the Dr. Witchy's yellow tomato. This is going to be a really large, extra large tomato with really big fruit, nice stocky tomato. I'm really excited to be bringing this to our garden this year. I have a handful of other seeds that were given to me. These are blush tomato. Oh, that's a ground cherry, pineapple ground cherry, and purple bumblebee tomato. I have get stuffed tomato. I've never actually planted this. I did give some seeds away in a seed swap, but that's why it's open. All of these that are folded are seeds that the packages have already been opened on. Get stuffed tomato it's kind of like a bell pepper shaped tomato. You can scoop out that middle section and stuff it. You can either stuff it and serve it raw or stuff it and serve it baked, and you can stuff it just like you would a bell pepper. So that's a really interesting tomato. I really like the gold streaks on the skin. And then of course I'm also going to be adding a white currant tomato. These are really small, tiny currant tomatoes. I'm excited to try this. I have not successfully grown a currant tomato yet. I did add a red currant tomato last year, and it didn't survive the transition. I bought it from the farmer's market. It was already an established tomato plant, and I just don't think that it liked transitioning to our environment. So growing these from seed, I think we may have a lot more success. It's a very delicate, sweet tomato. I also have Aunt Molly's ground cherry. I or none of my family are a huge fan of this variety of ground cherry. I'm probably going to try the other varieties if I ever get my hands on them. But overall, this to me tasted like a mixture between like a, I don't know, it was kind of fruity, but it also had a tomato-based flavor to it. And it wasn't like unpleasant, but it's just, to me, it was a little strange, and it wasn't something that I was just super excited over. I have a couple videos last year where I'm kind of on the fence about it. To me, it was okay, but I'm not fighting for space for this one in my garden. This year, I'm going to pass on the ground cherry. Maybe we'll come back in a few years and try it again. Maybe add some other varieties, and we'll come back to it. I also have purple tomatillo. I really love the purple tomatillo in my garden last year. For whatever reason, I didn't get a whole lot of production. I'm not going to use the space for purple tomatillos this coming year. I'm going to definitely grow them again because I love tomatillos, but we're probably going to wait till we move on to a larger homestead where we have more space to devote to those. We harvested pecan seeds from our own pecan bushes that were growing wild and naturally on our property. Pecans are native to this area, so we do have several bushes that are just growing freely around town, and we have some in our yard, so we definitely harvested lots of seeds from these. It's a really super spicy, teeny tiny pepper plant, really beautiful. I wouldn't say that it's super tasty because all you can taste off of pekins are how spicy they are. So a lot of times what I do is I crush them out, I take the seeds out, and I end up drying the fruit and crushing them into red pepper flakes. A little tiny bit goes a long way. If you put a pekin pepper in your mouth, you're going to know exactly where in your mouth you bit it because they are so spicy, to me anyway. With our peppers, some of these are new this year, some of them we have grown before. I grew the brown jalapeno last year. To me, that was okay. Black Hungarian pepper, super productive pepper, but it's really small. It's like a jalapeno. Early in the season, these were really mild and not very spicy. As the season went on, the peppers got very spicy. They were growing on average about this long, maybe 2 to 3 inches. Not a very big jalapeno, but very productive. We also grew albino bell pepper last year. This variety I really liked. It was very productive, but it is a small bell pepper. Our peppers, again, weren't getting much bigger than 3 to 4 inches long. We have some generic mixed bell peppers. I'm really excited this year to be trying habanada. Habanada is a habanero plant that has been selectively bred to not carry very much heat. It's a heatless pepper, so we're really excited. It's supposed to carry on the same floral and fruity notes and flavors that an original habanero has, just without any of that spiciness. I'm going to be growing Brazilian starfish this year. This is a really spicy but very beautiful little pepper. Oh my gosh, you guys. After touching this bag, I wiped my face right now. I touched my face and my face is feeling the spice just from touching this bag. That is insane how spicy that little pepper is. I also have cayenne pepper, pepper. This one is cubanelle. I plan on growing these as like a replacement to use in chili rellenos. Chili rellenos are one of my favorite food. It's basically where you take a pepper plant, you flame roast the outside, peel the skin off, and then stuff it with cheese and batter and fry it. I love chili rellenos. I'm going to use the cubanelle pepper for that this year is my goal. More habanadas. I'm going to grow buena mulata this year as well. This year we're going to grow a lot of peppers, so you're going to have to stay tuned where we're going to put all of these peppers. Buena mulata is a long pepper. To me, it looks a lot like a cayenne pepper. They're supposed to be really spicy. And then that is pretty much our nightshades for today. All right, you guys, I had a hair in my mouth from when Evie was saying hi to me earlier, and I made the mistake of not washing my hands after touching that bag of pekin peppers. My mouth is on fire right now just from touching the outside of the bag that the pekin peppers are stored in. That is a seriously spicy pepper, you guys. My nose is like running now from how hot my mouth is. I'm gonna have to go drink some water before we continue this. Our second drawer is grains and nuts, and I've already said this is generally my miscellaneous drawer. It doesn't necessarily have grains or nuts in here. Gosh, that was a really spicy bag. Okay, so I'm not necessarily going to open these up because this is just, to me, my miscellaneous drawer. We have Good Bug Habitat Seed Mix. This bag has a variety of seeds that are going to attract beneficial bugs that are pollinators or, you know, things like that. So it'll attract butterflies, bees, all kinds of things. A couple of these in here are alfalfa, buckwheat, baby's breath, fennel, celery, white yarrow, alyssum, just to name a few. So that's pretty cool. I also have in here my sunflowers, my bronze orange corn, which is a dwarf corn variety, clover, and chicken forage, which is basically seeds that I grow just so the chickens can eat on some fresh greens. All right, next up are the squash. There's lots of potential in what we have here. So I may grow this again next year. This is Jarradale pumpkin. I'm really excited about this pumpkin. To me, the Jarradale pumpkin is just so beautiful, and it has a great storage life once you pick it. I personally haven't had a whole lot of success growing this yet. I started it really early, and even still, it wasn't even producing pumpkins on the plant until way late in the season, and then the frost came and killed the plant. I do want to try this again. I'm not sure. I'm still deciding if it's going to have space in the garden this year. I also have acorn squash, a really good variety. I did get some squash this past year off of this. We have Lady Godiva. This variety of pumpkin is amazing, and that the pumpkin seeds don't have the outer shell on them. So once you clean out this pumpkin, you can throw those seeds straight into the oven, cook them, and eat them straight. They are really cool. It's a popular naked seeded pumpkin. It produces seeds without hard shells. A healthful snack, fresh or roasted. So really excited about Lady Godiva squash. I'm equally as excited, if not more, about the Seminole squash. This to me looks like a butternut squash. It is sometimes considered the pumpkin of the Everglades. It is drought tolerant, heat tolerant, and pest tolerant. All things that we struggle with here in Western Texas. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we will get some production from the Seminole squash this year. This is a Pattison Panache Jaune et Vert Scallop. This is a patty pan variety of squash I'm really excited about. Has a buttery flavor, super productive. I am definitely trying this in the garden this year. We also have from Baker Creek Ronde de Nice. We don't have a picture of it. They sent the seeds in this packet instead. But Ronde de Nice, it looks pumpkin shaped, but it's actually a summer squash, and it can be used as a stuffing squash. I also have gray zucchini, a really good variety of squash to grow. Some other generic squashes, and then some squash that I've harvested from grocery store squash. Like this one is spaghetti squash, which I actually did grow last year, and it made some really nice squash off of these seeds. And then I harvested from a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern. With things like this, you can definitely grab seeds from grocery store pumpkins, grocery store squash, and grow them. Just keep in mind that they may be hybridized seeds, so you don't exactly know what you're going to grow. There's just not that safety net that you get from buying heirloom variety seeds. So definitely, by all means, collect the seeds from your pumpkin you get at the store, but it might not grow into the same pumpkin that you bought. So keep that in mind. So lots of exciting things to come from our squash. I do like to put these in a Ziploc bag just to keep them a little bit fresher. Also kind of keeps the smell down. We don't want any pests getting into these. Next up are the melons. I say this about every single drawer, but there's a lot of exciting things in the melon category that I cannot wait to show you guys. So new to our garden this year, we have Charentes, a French melon. I'm really excited to try that this year. I also have Tigger melon. This is a new one this year for us. And I bought Kajari melon. Lots of good things from Kajari melon, I hear. It's to be a really flavorful variety of melon, and I would say it's arguably one of the most beautiful and sought after melons that is on the market. So I'm really excited to have gotten my hands on Kajari melon. It's been in my shopping cart for about a year and a half now, and I finally got it. It's a very, very sought after melon, and oh my gosh, isn't that just the most beautiful melon you've ever seen? I mean, Tigger melon is also really beautiful. So these are two varieties I'm just really excited to try to grow. New this year going in the garden, we have Dragon's Egg cucumber. It's supposed to be a bitterless, really nice, soft, white cucumber, and I am definitely going to grow this. Haven't decided if I'm going to grow these again this year. This is Cucamelon, which is Mexican sour gherkin cucumber. It's a really cute, very flavorful little cucumber. It grows up to be the size of a grape. We did have issues with birds eating these melons this year, so I'm probably going to skip out this year and try to spend my space on something that I really think is going to give back to me a little bit more this year. Grew Artcomb's Ancient Watermelon. We have lemon cucumber. This year, instead of Artcomb's Ancient Watermelon, I'm going to be growing Moon and Stars. It's a beautiful variety. The leaves themselves are spotted, as well as the fruit. These are seeds from those overripe ancient watermelons that I collected. So we have more seeds from those. More watermelon. And then these are just some generic pickling cucumbers, watermelons that I've gotten. Cucumbers, cantaloupes, and there we go. That is the melon group. Here are my beans, peas, and okra. This variety, I may have room to plant this year. If not, I definitely will plant it in the future. We will see. I'm really excited about this variety. I just don't know if it makes the cut with the gardening space that we have. Blue butterfly pea is an absolutely beautiful choice to add to your garden. It does mature very, very slowly, so if I do plant this one in the future, I'm definitely going to plant it between other plants, kind of as a companion plant, because it doesn't bloom until later in the season. I got this year for growing rattlesnake pole beans. I had really poor success growing my purple potted pole beans last year, and that's because I think that once the heat kicked in, it was just dropping flowers. So it was too hot to grow my purple potted pole beans where I had them. This year I got my rattlesnake pole beans because these are hot tolerant, they're drought tolerant, and so I thought that these might just do a little bit better since they're meant to grow in the south. So we're going to try these pole beans instead of these. Now this year I'm not going to try to plant my pole beans in the same spot where these failed. I'm actually going to plant these in a little bit more shaded area, so that combined with getting a more heat tolerant variety and then giving them a little bit more shade, I'm hoping that we can get a lot more bean production, because these, it was just too hot to grow here. So unless I can create a much better microclimate to grow these in, I might not grow these again while we live here. I might wait till we move on to our next homestead and see what options we have for cooler areas to grow these, because anytime it hit 95 degrees, the flowers were just falling off and it just was not productive at all. So we're trying rattlesnake pole beans. So back here I have just some other generic beans, okras. I got some sweet peas. And I am really excited about this bush bean. It's called golden butterwax. These I'm going to try to grow in my green stock. Excellent for canning, for freezing, super productive. I'm really excited about golden butterwax. I'm also very excited about heavy hitter okra. This is a super productive variety of okra. It basically came about from the Clemson spineless, but it has been selectively bred to be extremely productive. It says on here, most productive okra we have ever seen, and this is from Baker Creek. This unbelievable heirloom was selected and perfected over decades by Ron Cook, a farmer in Oklahoma. No compromise to flavor or texture. Heavy crops of uniform pods, perfect for pickling and savoring. And on their website, they were saying that the plants can produce like up to something like 240 pods per plant, I think is what it said. So I'm really excited. This is actually a variety that is new to Baker Creek. They just came out with it this year, and I got my hands on it as soon as it came out. So I'm really excited to try heavy hitter okra, which is a branch off of Clemson spineless. I also have red swan bush beans that has really beautiful red pods with pink flowers. I'm excited to try to grow this. I did get this more of as something that I wanted to give away in seed swaps and as a gift for loved ones. So I didn't really buy it for me to use, but I did have some seeds that I did save just because I do want to try it and see if it's something worth keeping around. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. And that is my beans, peas, and okra. All right, here we have brassica family, also including greens, which are not necessarily brassicas. And I also have in here artichokes because I didn't really know where else to put my artichokes. I only have 2 varieties of artichoke, so I just clumped them in with the brassicas. So we do have a couple different categories when it comes to brassicas and greens and artichokes. Let's start with our lettuces. I have garnet rose, which is a red romaine. This year I also did get from Baker Creek a free seed packet of rouge d'hiver. I think that, I don't know how to say that, but it is another red romaine. I got these from Greenstock as gifts with my Greenstock garden planner. Some generic lettuces and some spinach. I also have a rainbow mix of 5-color Swiss chard. This is a really wonderful plant to grow. I really like it. And I think it's so fun when you plant more than one seed to see which colors you get, because they come in 5 different colors and it's random what seed grows into what color. Super fun. Our next category are going to be like the broccoli and cauliflower types. We have Purple of Sicily. This is the cauliflower I have growing out in my winter potted garden beds right now. So this is what it looks like. I'm really, really excited to see it head, if it can survive the snowstorm we're going through right now. So this is the cauliflower I do have growing outside. I have 4 plants out there right now. We have purple kohlrabi. This I do have growing outside as well. So out there I do have my broccoli in that big pot, and then the purple kohlrabi is nestled under it. Once I harvest my broccoli, the kohlrabi should speed up and start growing after it has more space to grow. I have a couple packets. Baker Creek actually sent me an extra packet of early sprouting broccoli last year, so I ended up with 2 packets, which was really cool. I also have a couple varieties of artichokes. We have the artichoke green globe. This is the 2 plants I have out there right now that I'm trying to trick into flowering their first year by starting them as seedlings in the winter. When they go through that cold winter and survive, they're going to think that they're already a year old when they're really only a couple months old. And then when the hot weather comes, they will decide to flower because they think they're more mature than they are. So that's a pretty cool thing we're trying to do with the green globe artichoke. I'm also going to grow cardoon. I've never grown cardoon before. This is new to our garden this year. Cardoon is a relative to the artichoke. It is in the same family. It's also a thistle, but instead of harvesting the flowers in cardoon, you harvest the stems. And it has a very similar flavor to artichokes. I'm really excited to try to grow cardoon. Then we have our kales. The kale that I have outside growing in my garden right now is the blue curly Scotch kale. Very nice variety. It's a classic. New to the garden this year, I have the Nero di Toscana. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm really, really excited about this variety of kale. And this one came for free with an order of Baker Creek, and it's a red kale. And then we have greens. I'm really excited. This collard variety right here is both hot tolerant and cold tolerant, so you can grow this year round. This collards, it's Morris heading collards. Very good variety of collards. And then we have Wild Rocket Arugula. Wild Rocket Arugula is a very special variety of greens to grow. It has really cool properties to it which can fight cell damage. So it's a very, very healthy variety of arugula to grow. Great for anybody's table. And then I'm going to grow dandelions this year as companion plants in my garden. And I do plan on using these as greens as well. And I am probably more excited about this variety than anything else I'm going to grow this year in the garden, which is silly because they're greens and I've never been a huge salad eater, but I am so excited about this. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to give it a try. The Chijimisei or Chijimisei. This is a bok choy relative and you eat it as a green. Let me just read how amazing this is. A phenomenally tasty, stunning new superfood with 4 times as much vitamin A as carrots. It's a cross between tatsoi and kamatsuna. Lightly savoyed leaves have velvety mouthfeel and a light umami or savory flavor. It's heat tolerant and cold tolerant, suitable to grow year-round in most growing zones. Doesn't that sound absolutely amazing? This one, I believe, is another one that's new to Baker Creek. It's only been here either this year or a couple years, and I am very, very excited about this packet of seeds right here. Next, we have the alliums. Alliums are basically onions, anything in the onion family. I'm not even going to open this packet up because I do not have a huge onion collection yet. I do plan on expanding on this, but with our garden space, I just haven't made room really for much onions in our gardens yet. I think this is going to be something that I grow more of once we move on to a real homestead with lots of acreage. So for now, I have some bunching onions, some chives, and some shallot. And that is the alliums. There we go. That was the quickest section so far. After alliums, we do have root vegetables. Funnily enough, not everything in this bag are grown for their roots. I have a couple varieties of carrot. These are the two that I'm most excited about. Pusa rudera, it's a red carrot that has a lot of nutrients in it, and then Pusa acida black. Pusa acida black was bred in India. It's heat tolerant, extremely rich in antioxidants, perfect for hot summers. Rich in anthocyanins, and it's practically black. Performs better than other carrots in extreme heat. That is why I got Pusa acida, is I'm going to try to grow these in the spring. I've not had very much luck growing carrots, so far I've just kind of been sticking with my generic carrot seed packets, and once I get the hang of really growing carrots, I'll start using my more expensive seeds. Might see some of these in the spring though. I figured I'd try. I have 200 seeds in here, so I figured I'd throw a few seeds out and see what they can do with them being so heat tolerant. I'm really excited to try this year. It's called rat's tail radish. This is the variety of radish that you grow and don't harvest the roots from. You actually harvest the bean-like pods. It's supposed to be like spicy beans. You can cook them in stir fries. And I'm actually really excited about this rat's tail radish. So this is the variety of radish that you actually do want to bolt, so it can go to seed, because that's what you eat from this one. And then I have some just generic regular radishes, turnips, beets, and more beets. That's my root vegetables right there. I really would love to add potatoes to this. I haven't got any potato seeds yet. I just don't know if I have the space for potatoes yet. If I find an area that I want to devote to potatoes, I'll probably get some different potato varieties. I'm really interested in growing sweet potatoes, so we will see. Okay, we are not done yet. We have 2 sections left. These are my herbs. Now, herb is a very broad term. Basically, I put anything that has some kind of beneficial edible component to it, but it's not necessarily what I would consider like a fruit or a vegetable. So let's just jump right in. This is a very big category. We have safflower. This one's new this year for us, for our homestead. Safflower is basically what I'm going to use to make saffron. You harvest the flower petals and you can cook them into sauces, and I am really excited about this. I used to work in a kitchen where we would make saffron sauces to put over cooked salmon, and the saffron sauce, it was just so good. You basically cook these in white wine and butter, and it makes this amazing creamy yellow sauce. So we're excited to try the safflower in our kitchen. Something that you guys may know about me, or you shortly will know about me, is that I love nasturtiums. So last year I grew Tip Top Alaska Salmon nasturtium. It's a dwarf nasturtium variety with variegated leaves, very beautiful flowers. And I also grew just a mixed variety. So I ended up with salmon colored flowers, tangerine orange flowers, and like a deep bloody orange colored nasturtium. So they were all really beautiful. This year I'm adding 3 new varieties of nasturtiums. We have the Yeti nasturtium, which is a vining nasturtium. I plan on growing this one up a trellis. It's a really beautiful large nasturtium. I'm also going to grow tall trailing mix, which is a mixed variety. These tall trailing mix can reach up to 10 feet in a season, so I'm definitely going to trellis these as well. And then one more dwarf variety, which is basically like a little bush variety, are the Orchid Cream nasturtium. This one is just so beautiful. I am really excited to grow Orchid Cream. Has creamy petals with almost like a blood red splash on them. Now, nasturtiums are super good for your garden. They do attract negative bugs away from your crops, and they also are edible. You can eat the flower petals, you can eat the seed pods, and you can eat the leaves. So nasturtiums, they are amazing, really packed full of vitamins and minerals, and you can throw them into salads. You can chop them up and use the leaves chopped up and dried as an herb. You can make pesto out of them. The possibilities are endless, and the fact that nasturtiums come in so many pretty colors makes it all the better. So that's definitely a big part of my herb garden right there. Look at that, nasturtiums. Also have Mexican mint, which is in the marigold family, but Mexican sweet mace mint. This one is Salvia Blue Sage. I actually still have some of this growing outside. It is not, oh, it is considered frost hardy. Well, there you go. I was actually wondering why in the world it was still alive. It says on the packet it's frost hardy. So I guess it's a perennial in our climate, because this one I planted last spring and I still have some alive of that. That surprised me. We have some lavender, which I tried growing this year. I did get it to sprout, but it ended up getting overwatered and it died. Toothache plant, I have tried growing last year. I'm going to try again this year. This is a really neat plant. It's a medicinal in that if you chew on, don't eat, but if you chew on the flowers, it will give you a numbing sensation. So it's literally a toothache healing plant. I guess it doesn't heal your tooth problem, but it makes you feel like you don't have one. So that's that's pretty cool. I know in some cultures you can crush them up and they'll use them like as a salve, which is pretty cool. I just want to grow them because I think they're a really neat plant. So I'm going to try again this year and see what we can do with those. We have flax, which is a fiber plant. This is yarrow. I have 3 of these plants growing outside right now. They haven't flowered yet, but I'm hoping in the spring they'll flower. Chamomile, we're growing for tea. We have blue hyssop, wild thyme. I'm very, very excited about my white borage this year. Borage normally comes with blue flowers. This one is a little bit unique in that it produces white flowers instead. Borage is a really neat, calming, cooling additive that you can add to teas or and other things. And borage, it's a plant that has a slightly cucumbery flavor, so it's really neat. Very excited to grow this plant next year. Got some cilantro. I got a few packets from ordering from Baker Creek of purple opal basil. I really like basil. Regular green basil. Catnip. Catnip is amazing. We're growing this again next year. Broadleaf sage. We actually have this growing in the garden right now in our winter container pots. Lemon balm, mint, more cilantro. We have fennel, more purple basil. Look at that. I got 3 packets right there. That shows you guys how much I order from Baker Creek. Each one of these comes with an order. This one I believe is lemon bee balm, and this was dill. More cilantro, rosemary. I haven't actually grown any rosemary. I know the seed packet's open. I think my mother-in-law gave this one to me and she had grown some. But rosemary, we already have a really, really large plant in our chicken yard, and anytime we need rosemary, we just go and pick some off of that. More cilantro. And these are cool. These actually came with our order from Greenstock, and it's a little ornament that came with the order, and you can hang these on your tree, and when Christmas season's over you can actually plant this entire thing in your Greenstock, and it has herbs. It doesn't say what varieties on them, but it has herb seeds in the paper, and so you can grow off of these ornaments new plants in your Greenstock. So I'm probably going to plant these. I'm not sure if they're going to go in the Greenstock or maybe just in the ground, but I'm really thankful and excited for these that came with my Greenstock this year. All right, guys, are you still with me? If you've made it this far, then hang in there because we only have one section left in this seed collection library tour. So let's get started on this last section. This last section are the ornamentals. I have a couple pieces of paper towels in the bottom shelf. I actually drop a couple drops of essential oils in these every month just to keep any unwanted visitors out of my seed collections. Sometimes the cats try to pull out the drawers, the dogs get curious, don't want any surprises, because these seeds, even though they're little, they add up. Don't want to replace them. Some of these seeds I've been on waiting lists for years to get them, and so, like, for example, Tangerine Gem, I have been waiting almost 2 years to get this seed, so don't want them to disappear from curious little critters getting into the seeds. I actually did have the cats last spring when they were kittens, I left some of my seed packets out, and I came back and they had chewed holes in my seed packets and left them all over the living room floor, and I had seeds all over the floor, and I just about wanted to cry vacuuming them up, and it was just terrible, all mixed up, like such a loss. So on ornamentals, these are plants that I grow for beauty and for pollinators. Some of them I guess are edible, like pansies are edible. Maybe I should move that to herbs, but in general, these are plants I grow for adding beauty to the garden and for adding attractors for pollinators. So starting off, I have some rose that I actually collected from our plants outside that are growing in the backyard that have been here since before we moved in. I have new this year pink senorita, which is a zinnia. Y'all need to Google what this looks like. It's a really beautiful flower. This seed packet didn't come with a picture on it, but I'm really excited to grow it. It's a really beautiful, beautiful zinnia that we're gonna try growing in the spring. More zinnias. We have some red, some purple, lots of mixed colored zinnias. Lots, when I say of mixed colored zinnias. My mother-in-law's given me a lot of these. All the ones that are these blue packets that come from American Seed were gifts from my mother-in-law. Got some daisies, petunias, convolvulus. Oh my gosh. Try to say that 3 times fast. Lots of morning glories. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of these morning glories. Morning glories are not edible, so it's not something I make a lot of room for in my garden. I did grow some of these morning glories last year and they didn't flower, so I don't even know what I'm going to do with all of those. Some cosmos. Over here, we have those poppies. I have Tangerine Gem, which is an amazing variety. It's drought tolerant. It's good for arid climates. And that's perfect because we live in the Chihuahuan Desert. We also got California poppy. I tried to grow this last year. My mistake is that you're supposed to sow poppies in late fall, early winter. My mistake is that I tried to grow these in late spring. And so even though these germinated and grew, they never had time to flower. I also have Scarlet Peony, Sissinghurst White. Isn't that just a beautiful variety of poppy? Got some Bachelor's Buttons. Lots of marigolds. I love growing marigolds as companion plants in my garden. Black King Pansy. Now, my Black King Pansies actually had purple flowers, so I'm not really sure why. Some violas, pansy relative. Balsam peppermint stick. This is an amazing variety. I definitely want to grow it again this year. Definitely an ornamental. Some cultures actually do eat the plants. I don't know what it would taste like. Maybe I can try it this year if we have good success with them. I thought that these were too beautiful to harvest as food because look at them. Those petals are just beautiful. It's a really pretty tropical looking flower. This year I also got, I don't know how to say that. Is it Gilia or Gilia globe? It's in the phlox family, phlox relative. You can see those pretty globes. This one I'm getting as a pollinator. I'm getting milkweed to attract butterflies, help the monarch butterfly out a little bit. These are poisonous and they can actually cause dermatitis if you touch them with your bare skin. So this is something that I'm gonna have to put in an area that is away from the chickens and away from the dogs. So I'm not sure where to plant it yet, but I did want to help out the monarch butterfly. So I went ahead and bought milkweed, butterfly weed. We have several packets of alyssum, which is a brassica. It's in the broccoli family. Really nice companion plant that we're going to use in the garden. And then just a couple more, impatiens and Thunbergia black-eyed Susan. Yes, you did it. You made it this far. You guys got to see my entire seed collection. I do have a plan for where I want to plant everything in the spring. However, I have gotten a few more seeds added to the collection since I made my plan a couple weeks ago, and I'm open to suggestions. So if you see any of the seeds that I have and have ideas for where I should plant them, go ahead and put it down in the comments below, and maybe we will see those suggestions play out in the garden this coming spring. Now we're almost done, but I have one more thing I wanted to show you guys. This is just so sweet and special to me. This year, I participated in Whispering Willow Farm Seed Swap, where I sent in 10 different seed packets with donated seeds that I have just donated to the seed swap. When I say donate, that means that I wasn't expecting to get any seeds back. Now, the really amazing thing is that Jill from Whispering Willow Farm did send seeds back, and I just thought that that was just the most special thing ever, because she didn't have to do that and she went above and beyond, and it really made my day. I actually got them on Christmas Day, so it was just an amazing Christmas present. I literally went to check the mail and I started tearing up, and I almost was bawling from how excited and grateful I felt for getting these seeds from Whispering Willow Farm. So let me show you what I received from the Whispering Willow Farm Seed Swap. So here we have more nasturtiums, and you all guys saw my nasturtiums in my collection. I am really excited. I will always take nasturtiums to add to my collection. I'm so thankful for that. I also got Amish paste tomato, and then she wrote this really sweet note. I hope you're finding as much joy in this seed swap as I am. May you find peace and happiness through the holiday season, New Year, and I wish you the best and most prosperous gardening season yet. Thank you so much, Melissa. I just thought that this was really sweet. Amish paste tomato is not a variety that I personally have ever thought of adding to the garden, but I know that it is a really productive and amazing versatile tomato, so I'm excited to grow this next year for sure. Also got orange cosmos, and I did message the person who sent these to me, and she said that she's been collecting orange cosmos for upwards of 10 years from this plant. So she's been saving seeds, and this orange cosmos means a lot to her family. So I'm really excited to grow those in the garden this year as well. The same person also sent mung bean sprouts, and I'm really excited about mung beans. They have a multitude of health benefits. Really excited to grow mung beans. We have organic Sumpter cucumber, as well as Muncher cucumber. We got red Russian kale from Baker Creek. We have red Malabar spinach. I'm super excited about the red Malabar spinach. I'm gonna grow this up a trellis. On the back it says, edible vining succulent that loves heat and sun, climbs quickly, produces small white buds that bees and hummingbirds find irresistible. Once pollinated, ripened berries are a bright purple that can be eaten, saved for seeds, or used as dye fabrics and foods. Leaves are very frost tender and contain mucilage, which is great for the digestive system. A fun and nutritious addition to the summer garden. It definitely is going to be a fun and delicious addition to my summer garden. Thank you so much. And then we also have lilac bell pepper and European mesclun salad blend. Oh, one more. And Italian peperoncini pepper. This is a really neat pickling pepper, which is super cool. And then of course, Jill from Whispering Willow Farm herself, she sent me a sticker with the Whispering Willow Farm logo, as well as a note that says, thank you so much for participating in the Whispering Willow Seed Swap. I pray that these seeds will bring you joy and abundance in your next growing season. Jill. I just feel so honored and appreciative for her to have included me in this. Alright guys, I had to migrate over here so that I could plug my camera in, but this video is almost done. I just really wanted to take the time to thank everybody who donated those seeds to the Whispering Willow Farm Seed Swap, everybody who participated in the seed swap, and I just wanted to give a little shout out to everybody who I personally got seeds from. So the red Malabar spinach came from Rachel Ann Ortiz, and everybody that I include on here are people who have provided information as far as like Instagram pages or YouTube channels, so go check these guys out. I got my red Malabar spinach from Rachel Ann Ortiz. I got my Italian peperoncini pepper, which is a pickling pepper, from @Megan E. And so go check out her channel. I know she has an Instagram account, which is really neat, where she shows all of the different things that she grows over there. Go check her out. I got lilac bell pepper from Always Home Together. She also has a YouTube channel as well and an Instagram account. My red Russian kale was anonymous. It didn't come with any information as to who that came from, as well as the dwarf jewel nasturtium. That one also was anonymous. My mung bean sprouts and my orange cosmos came from @ABitOfEarth on Pierce Hill. Go check out her Instagram account. It has those underscores. Just gonna show you right there. at A Bit of Earth on Pierce Hill, and I loved her story. I messaged all of these accounts telling them that I had received seeds from them and thanking them so much, and she's the one who got back to me telling me about that story with her orange cosmos, which I just thought was so special. My Amish paste tomatoes came from at Melissa Hollenbeck with an underscore at the very end. And my Muncher cucumber, as well as my European mesclun salad blend, came from at Freemant3, which I believe she just has an Instagram account. So go check out all of those guys. If you guys are one of these accounts and you guys are seeing this video right now, just know that from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys so much, and I do feel truly honored to use these seeds in my gardening season coming up. I also really want to thank you, Jill from Whispering Willow Farm. I feel so blessed and so appreciative and so thankful for the seeds that you sent me this year for the seed swap. Thank you so much. If you guys liked this video, do not forget to like it, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and please stay tuned. A lot of the seeds that I showed you today are going to be ending up in our spring 2021 garden, so stay tuned for that. I may come out with a video showing you guys what my garden plan is for next year. I do have my rough draft written, but I am tweaking it a little bit, trying to fit in all of those new seeds that I got as a surprise, as well as some of the seeds that I ordered last minute from Baker Creek this year. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and until next time, keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy this holiday